Hello there, YouTube. This will be my wife's asleep, my daughter is soundly asleep, I think. So my thought was I'd make like 2 hobby-related videos. So if anyone is expecting me to smoke a pipe today, no, sorry. There will be no pipe smoking, so all you pipe purists, you may just turn off this channel right now. Sorry about that. But other than that, you know, people, it's actually quite a relief. You don't have to close the door, hope no one wakes up, and stick, you know, something under the door to prevent the smoke from spreading, etc., etc. Nevertheless, this is the first video is actually a bit touchy. It was supposed to be an unboxing video. I actually filmed that with my daughter again in late afternoon. And she helped me a great deal and distracted me a great deal, and I thought I wasn't saying what I meant to say in relation to this unboxing. And besides, it was late in the afternoon and we were losing daylight, and the picture was a bit grainy, so I scrapped that. I'm just gonna show you what I bought and share some interesting stuff with you. It's again Batman miniatures game, and let's say all these purchases came without, you know, the beautiful blister packs. They were all loose, so I'm just gonna show you just the gray resin, because they're all resin today, and show you just their promo images that they published on their website, etc., etc. So without further ado, first one, there are 2 boxes, 2 sets of miniatures from their new starter set. Like I mentioned previously, Batman miniatures game went into its 3rd edition, and they have a big ass, like I think 140 bucks, a box called Back to Gotham, which contains rule books, dice counters, markers, rulers, and 2 full, you know, gangs. The policeman and Batman and the Joker, naturally. And these are actually the bunch of the policemen that come in this box, and if properly assembled and painted by someone way more competent than me, this is the set. 4 policemen armed with assortment of stuff, from just tonfas to shotguns to handguns to tasers. Nice multi-part set. And another cool thing that also is he's a member of the police force. Here's the resin portion. And it's actually Harvey Bullock, who is I think a sergeant, a subordinate of Commissioner Gordon. Very nice, you know, counterpoint to somewhat optimistic Gordon, because he is a very, you know, overworked, overweight, cynical, you know, police officer, bit on the corrupt side, but well, in the majority of storylines he's just a good man somewhere deep inside. So here it is again, enjoying a coffee and a jelly donut. Smoking a cigar, by the way. A very nice miniature full of character, etc. And on the opposing side of the law is this. These are the guys from another box, which came earlier when The Dark Knight Rises premiered. Remind me to speak about this movie because I hated it so much. It was another sort of starter box based on the film, and the bad guys here were, let me rotate this, I think, of course, Bane, Talia al Ghul, and these three sort of generic mercenary type guys, and that's what I got. Here they are. Two of them are armed with firearms. This one, and this guy just has an axe. Yeah, he brings an axe to the gunfight. Again, nice models, no complaints here. And another thing, the last thing, is this, again from that Dark Knight Rises box. What do you know? The Dark Knight himself. He's marks sort of a transition for Knight models. Here it is on a big, scenic base, sort of a gargoyle and bats flying off, and here it is. Here he is, cape flowing, etc. I don't like the Dark Knight, the Nolan trilogy costumes, let me put it that way. I'm gonna speak about those again, separately. But now they are just going overboard with these scenic, stuff, because some of these models are bases are like, this big, and Batman is very. There's a. I don't know whose artwork is that. Sorry. Some of you may remember this sort of angular shape with flowing cape. They have a miniature of that. It's like this big. And I'm not a fan. But this one is sort of reasonable. So I thought I'd go with that. So I bought these at a small store here in Russia, somewhere within the vast expanse of our country. And I hoped that these were just people taking apart these huge boxes and selling them separately. There's actually a market for that. Some people do that on eBay. Some people do that just on their own. If you don't want to buy the huge ass box, you can. There are people online who are happy to sell you those separately, components. Say you lost something from the box, you need a replacement, something like that. But my hopes were pretty thin, and my suspicions grew, and now I'm almost 100% sure, because these guys did not come with any cards. Every Batman Miniatures game miniature has a card like this. It's the first edition, then they made them smaller like that. No cards here, no packaging here, and some of the bases look sketchy. And my guess, sorry, I'm just sucking on a sort of a, let's call it a medicine, cough medicine. And bottom line, I'm 100% sure these little guys are recasts. For those of you unfamiliar, recast is someone taking an original miniature, taking a mold from that and making a copy. So all of these guys, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 or 10. So this is all counterfeit. These are counterfeit models, not made by Night Models in Spain, but made by some crafty guys here in Russia. Which brings me to all, this whole recasts issue, which is of course wrong, illegal, violating copyright, and putting money into the wrong pocket. But there is always a but. Like I said, this Dark Knight Rises box, it's already out of print. I cannot find any of the models on eBay because, let's face it, Night Models, it's not Games Workshop or Fantasy Flight Games. They're a small company, so they have sold. It's sold out, and no one is selling their whatever they need. And these guys from the newer box, it's still available, yeah, but like I said, it's like $140. And I hate this practice, really. Night Models are pretty generous with their game data. They tend to publish almost everything, so all the stats of the in-game stats of the new models are published on their website. The rulebook is published on their website, so if you have a printer, just print it and get onto playing. But there are no counters, and this game is very counter heavy. I think their templates are present, but the counters is the main thing. And they are basically pushing for what many other manufacturers are pushing towards. We're going into the new edition, we're issuing a new starter. If you want to go into the new edition and play according to the new rules, you basically have to buy the starter set. Pay us the money again, and it's sort of like an admittance fee to go into the new edition. And I hate this practice. Kudos for Night Models for actually publishing their stuff, because many companies do not do that and are trying to force you to either buy an electronic version, a PDF, or buy physical rule book, etc. There are companies that are doing counters and markers and rulers, etc., that will definitely fit this game. I think I'm going to go for those and buy and utilize them, because I don't like card, all the stuff apart from the miniatures that goes into that is in the new Batman Miniatures game starter set is basically cardboard. I hate that. And people are doing laser cut plastic, which is cooler in my opinion, so I'm gonna go with those. And I just cannot justify spending money on the new box, because I have so much stuff at home. I have literally like 3 or 4 big board games, big boxes that I haven't opened yet, and it's jarring, and I do not want to do that to myself again. So, will I buy from these guys again, knowing that they are selling, making and selling counterfeit miniatures? Maybe not, if I can find the models I'm looking for, the legit ones, online, because there's Hello Fridge. There are some models that I just cannot buy, like the Robin, Batman's sidekick. There's no separate Robin model on sale on the Night Models website right now. It's sold out. I cannot see a new release coming. I can buy it on eBay, or I can buy this recast, which will be like half the price, and feel guilty about that. I'm not buying a Robin right now, but just saying, none of these are released as separate packs. I'd love to have myself, a Harvey Bullock. There's no other model of Harvey Bullock in their range. So do I have to buy, $100 box to get one miniature? So it's sketchy, and I'm not proud of that. But that's the reality of the miniatures market. There's counterfeit. People are buying counterfeit because there is a demand for that. There's a demand for cheaper models, but I'm not trying to be cheap here exactly. There's also a demand for specific components, and unfortunately the manufacturers are not providing. Back when I started in this hobby, I started with, I said that already, with Games Workshop. I didn't use that, but I know of it. They had a huge mail order service, and there were guys on the phone. They were jokingly called mail order trolls. Back then, trolls were a good thing, and Games Workshop had sort of these huge ass catalogs with all of their models, all of the parts individually numbered, so you could phone Games Workshop mail order service and say, guys, remember, 5 years ago you released this huge ass dragon that has an elf sitting on top of it, brandishing a sword. Well, I need the arm with the sword from that set. And you pay them, and they find that specific part, they cast it, and they send it to you. And no one is doing that nowadays, apart from very small manufacturers. All the big guys, they're going for sets and sets only, and it's a crying shame, because sometimes you just need a hand with a sword. And all these people, they're always campaigning against recasts, campaigning against third parties releasing some parts that are compatible with their models. Like Games Workshop are big on that. They actually went to court and I believe lost. They went against the third party company that were producing components compatible with their multi-part plastic sets. And they're all campaigning against that, issuing threat after threat for guys who are doing this, recasting, etc. But at the same time, they are not, unfortunately, not providing what the people need, what the gamers and modelers need. And they, consequently, they fuel this demand for illegal copying, unfortunately, instead of doing it himself. Because I would be quite happy to contact Night Models and say, I need these 3 mercenaries from this set. I would probably even pay extra for those, but I'm not given an opportunity. And instead I'm given an opportunity to buy those of really, and I mean really good quality, because, you know, these are nice sculpts. No flash little mold lines, you know, everything is crisp. You know, recasting has come a long way, because it used to be sort of very, you know, back alley thing, people just doing that at home, and the quality was suffering. And this is like, I doubt that Night Models originals will be better than these. Yeah, and so I'm offered to buy those for like half a price. Yeah. So here you are. I got another bunch of models, and these are counterfeits. And like I said, will I buy from these people again? I'm not sure I won't, because some of their stuff is not produced by the original manufacturer. Yeah. So there you have it. That's my first video. Interesting explanation, some insight into this shady, you know, hobby. And I will be back with another one video telling of my struggles with, you know, the real Night Models that I have. And I'm gonna go into that right now. See you soon.